Right, welcome back. I've now glued the seats into place onto those little mounting arms there and the one on the other side. I've also put the securing part of the seat belt that will wrap around this armature around there, the V-shaped armature that's glued in. So I've done all that. That's about to be glued to that rod there. I'm doing a bit of test fitting of the dashboard. Now the dashboard just fits onto that little square piece on the center console, and just here, I best have turned the flash on, to be honest. There we go. Just here you got that C-shape hole on both sides, and those go into that little peg there. This is Q2, yeah, because I've marked it up there too. That will sit on that side, and the peg will slot into that little hole on that side. And then this one's Q6, as I've marked it. And again, there's the little peg, and that will slot into there. So when this was in place, the cross beam, I was pushing that into place like that, and then bringing it up slightly so that peg would match that. But these holes here, they wasn't wide enough, because on the side of the cross beam you can see those there, those after locking to this like this, have I got it the right way? Yeah, so that locks into there like that, but the holes wasn't wide enough, and when I was trying to push it into place, the mounting pegs at the bottom here and here that were locked into those little holes there and there, they're snapped out, and this was loose, so I had to gently pull that out, and then getting my little sanding piece of plastic, you remember from the Titanic build, and I glued the stickiness of these fine sanding paper, I just got that in there and then widen those slightly like that, and now that fits into there perfect. And then the same for number 2, that fits into there perfect, as you can see. But now I've got to try and glue that back into place on there, but I don't know whether to just maneuver, glue everything back into place and then maneuver it round the seat belts and then get it back in there. So just be wary of this. You're going to need to widen those holes. Right, I've done a bit more work on the focus. Firstly, I've done the door panel. Now that's what it looks like when it's blank, and that's what it looks like when it's painted. Now I've painted the outer part in the anthracite 36109, and the inner door panel here, I've painted that in Humbrol gloss black number 21, because that's what it says on the plans. It's obviously in Tamiya colours, but it doesn't matter, or Hasegawa colours, but that's what I've got off the because I've written all the colours down on there with the Hasegawa codes. So 33 is flat black, I'm basically using anthracite, and number 2 is just black, well I'm assuming that's gloss black, so that's what I'm using. So I've still got the other door panel to do, I just wanted to show you what they look like. I've also painted the steering column with the shifted handle knob there. Actually it goes that way. Now that part is what was that part? That one's Q5, And then for the actual shifter knob itself, that's R8, so I just put a touch of glue on there on the little peg and just push the R8 shifter knob on that. So that's that done. I've painted that in the anthracite. I've also done the steering wheel, and that is R4. I've painted the outer part in the anthracite, both sides, and the inside I've painted that in the gloss black. I've left that in the white so I know where I've got to mount it, and I've painted that black on the inside there, because the mounting part there, that little mounting notch, that goes on the back of there, that little white notch there. So that's that done. Then I've done the dashboard. I've just painted that all in anthracite, because it tells you to paint it in 33, which is the flat black. And then the dials and the knobs, I've painted them in silver. I've painted some in white because I've got to paint those in clear red. And then that bit there, I've just painted a bit of white on there, so that's the dashboard done. Apart from them couple of dials there, and I've put the decal on. That one's 67 for the speedometer, and that one there with the readout, that one's 52. So I've just got to wait for them to dry, sol them and seal them, and then just paint the red on there. But that's all. That's where I'm sitting at the moment. A little bit more work. I've now painted the dashboard. Painted the dashboard. So the decals on there now, that's all sealed for the speedometer. That little readout panel there, that's all sealed. Both of those in the clear gloss. I've put the clear red on those couple of whited dials that I've put on there, the little knobs. So that's all that done. The steering wheel stroke steering column assembly with the shifter knob, I've now glued the steering wheel onto the steering column, and that white bit where I'd left it so I know where to mount it, I've painted that in the anthracite, and that will plug in that little white notch there. That goes into that little hole there, like so, and that will be the completed assembly once it's glued. So putting them to one side, I've now done the other panel now in the anthracite and the black. So all this now is ready to be mounted on to the interior chassis. Right, I've dry fitted all these parts together now. You got the Q2 and the Q6 side panels. You've got the cross beam, which is Q3. Now, if you remember, I'd actually glued the cross beam in there and on that side as well in them holes. Don't do that. Leave it loose, because you'll have the same problem as I have. So what you need to do is you need to put the dashboard in first on that square mounting tab on the center console. Push that into place dead loose. Then put your cross beam in, and then loosely fit the Q2 and the Q6, because this is still loose. See, it's still loose. I've actually brought that back out again, so I've got to push that back in a minute. That's it. Right, so what you need to do, if you remember the two hooks on the bottom of the dashboard which hook onto those pins on Q2 and Q6, you need to bring that back up slightly from the bottom, and then push those into place, and then bring that back down, and then it will lock them two hooks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the glue on the bottom here. I'm going to put it on the hooks, put it on that square piece, and I'm obviously going to re-glue the cross beam back down. So don't glue the cross beam in, leave it loose. I made a mistake. So now all this is loose fit. All I've got to do is just put the glue on, and that's it. And then we'll see how the glue dries. I've now finished work on the interior driver cockpit. When I'd left yet, I was just dry fitting all these parts together. Because like I said, the crossframe was loose. Everything was all loose. So what I've done is I've just ran the glue there, down there, all the way around the rear fender well, up the side here, up there. You've got, let me just turn that flash on. I don't know if it'll make any difference. Right underneath there, you've got that hook on the dashboard into the peg of the side wall. So you've got that one there, and then you've got that one underneath there. So I ran the glue, got my little nozzle on my contactor, got right in there, and got right in there. Then going on to the other side again, running the glue all the way around, and there as well. I've also put some glue right down inside there where it came out of that peg hole. I put some down there as well, and it seems to have held. I'm really well chuffed on how well this is held with the glue. So that's what you want to do, loose fit it, then glue it. Right, to the next part, you've got, so it tells you on the plans, one, which is the doors onto there. Now it's telling me to fit the second part, which is the first part of the roll cage, which is R1, and then the third part of the orientation is the rear part of the roll cage, which is R2. Now, I don't know if you remember, but on the cross beam, there's like a little notch with a little like indentated groove there, and there's one on the back as well. So there's one there, one there, one there, and one there. So what you do is you get the R1 part of the roll cage, and on the back of the arms there, you got there and there, it's rounded. So those just sit in those little concave holes there and there. So I just ran the glue just a bit, put one drop there, one drop there, and let that set. On the dashboard it's still loose, as you can see. Now on the rear section, which is R2, again, on the back, there and there, it's all rounded. And on the back here, there's a little hole indentation. Again, that's just rounded. So I'll just put a drop of glue there, drop of glue there, drop of glue there, and drop of glue here. And those have gone in and dried really stiff as well. And that's all that's holding it. It's just resting in those little concave holes. And that's it. And then with the seat belts, when I made out the ribbon, I've just wrapped them around that little Y-shaped support rod there, and just put a bit of super glue and just wrap them round, and that's it. So the only thing I've got to do for the interior now is just this radiator. I've still got to paint that cross section there, and that will just drop in there like that. There's a little channel there, and that just drops in there like that. So the interior is virtually finished.